families has had to live with the fact that their son and their brother's killer has escaped justice. Today I want to talk to you about the case of Alan Graham. Now, Alan was an 11-year-old boy and he was described, like most kids his age, as outgoing and boisterous. Alan and his mum went to stay with his brother Dennis, who was 25. Now, Dennis lived about 3 or 4 miles away, and this wasn't uncommon for Alan to go and stay with him because Alan went there regularly, and Alan had made lots of new friends there. On January 24th, 1970, Alan was playing outside with his friends and he was playing football with them when his mum called him in and said, "Can you go and get me some cigarettes from the shop?" Now, this shop was down the road and it was called Appleton's. And back then in 1970s, that's what kids could do. They could go down the shop and get you cigarettes. His mum got real angry after about half an hour of him not returning home, so she went out to look for him. Now, she thought maybe he'd got distracted like kids do and seen his friends and gone to play a game with them. And she did search the area, but she couldn't find him, so she actually went back home. A few hours had gone by and it started to get dark, and his mum's anger then turned into panic. So the family went out and looked for him. They searched the whole area, parks he could have been at, everywhere that they thought he would be, but sadly they couldn't find him, so the mum immediately rang the police. Back then in the 1970s, when someone went missing, it was very different to how it is today. They didn't have the technology we do today, so it wouldn't be blasted all over the internet. They did things very differently. A description of Alan was circulated around the area, and that's how they got out somebody was missing back then. Police patrols were told to look out for the missing boy as well. What began as a missing persons inquiry sadly took a sinister and tragic turn. On January 25th, 1970, at the Callerton farm, which was about 7 miles away from where Alan had gone missing, a farm worker started work early. The farm worker was going about his day when he made the horrifying discovery. Lying in a waterlogged ditch was the body of Alan Graham, and he had been strangled. Police launched a massive murder investigation, and they made house-to-house inquiries in the area that Alan had lived, where he went missing, and also where his body was found. Now, police did question Alan's family extensively, and they also spoke to his school friends and his friends that he was hanging around with at the time. A week later, a reconstruction was made of Alan's last movements, and this was aired on Alan's funeral day. Now, every lead the police had led to a dead end, and unfortunately in July 1970 the case went cold. In 2014, Alan's case was featured in a Newcastle newspaper as an unsolved case. Ken Brown, a friend of Alan who had been playing with him just minutes before he disappeared, contacted the newspaper. Ken told the newspaper that when Alan came out of the shop, there was a van at the side of the road, and the man was sitting in the driver's seat, shouted to Alan and said, "Come on Alan, get in," or "Get in now Alan." And Alan saw him and he ran away. Now, according to Ken, officers spoke to Ken about this on the day Alan went missing, but they never came back for a statement.